move forward.
Can see what? No, it's okay.
Can you move forward or like?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So this conversation is more important than how the video looks.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we were talking about. We started live streaming and recording because I don't know. This conversation is like worth it. So, so part of why the South African government hasn't privatized the railway industry, for instance, is because they don't want to give up that control because they think it can lead to unfair fees, for instance. Because if a private organization controls, hello Maxi, hoe gaan het?
I remember that name.
Yep, Maxi was there last time. So if a private organization has control of the railway network, they will want to make the most profitable routes. So the argument is that it can lead to a lot of poor people being left out. That's what the assumption is. But what they don't realize is private businesses don't necessarily just think like that. They will be able to think, okay, a lot of poor people use the railway line. Therefore, they can find a way. That's why ShopRite is so successful. ShopRite isn't just in like rich areas. They know how to make money even from people that don't have money. So the government assumes, if we just let businesses do what they want, then they're not going to be able to cater to the people that need it most. So that's part of why they control it. But the reality is it's ironic because with the government controlling it, the poor people are actually the ones that get left out. Because yes, they have a train route and the government maybe makes it accessible and whatever, but now the government destroys the railway industry, which impacts the railway lines, it impacts the harbor, which impacts the entire economy of South Africa, which is why someone we know has moved to Namibia, they're working in Namibia right now in the harbor. The Walsh family is America's conscience. Please explain what you're saying by that. But someone we know is working in the harbor in Namibia because the government, Transnet, has messed up the railway system, which includes the harbor, so much that now the shipping companies are moving to Namibia because it's better for them. All because the government has controlled the railway line.
Yeah. I mean, on your point earlier of saying that, like, some people are afraid of privatization because of the reasons you mentioned, like, it monopolizing or being too expensive and, inaccessible. But that's actually by only the government having it, they're becoming a monopoly and they can then do the same. But I wanted to ask, why do you say that the government messed up the railway lines? Is it not because of things like theft and public people messing it up?
I will answer you now. Hi, my grandma's cat died. Can you give her some love? I give love to your grandma and her cat.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What's up, Sky? What's up? On Thanksgiving. Well, we've lost the cat, so we know what it feels like. You have my empathy. Which country? South Africa. It's an amazing country. It's just unfortunately not run that well. Hi. Catnip Jammy. Okay, so...
What? Catnip?
Catnip Jammy. Hello, Valentina. What's up?
Also, when I smiled, I don't know if anybody saw, but I smiled a little bit when you read out the thing about the person's grandma's cat, and that's not because of like lack of empathy. That's like my body doing an awkward thing.
Okay, so why the government has messed up the railway line? Yes, there's theft. Yes, there's all of these things. But the problem is that the government has been inefficient in what they run. Yes, they can't fully control the theft. but they kind of can. They can increase security, all of these things. They just don't, because the money does not get used properly. But they don't hire the best workers. They don't hire the best company to do these things. So what ends up happening is they lose money because, like, I don't know, trains will not be on time. The railway isn't properly looked after. It's because it's not just theft. It's also the actual upkeep of the infrastructure. They don't maintain it properly. That's why Johannesburg is out of water. Let me just say, I just got back from New York. We just got back to Florida. Shout out to Florida. Hello, Himsagar. South Africa is a big place to lose a cat. Yes, it is. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I plan on doing some fishing. Sick, are you the Rizzler? I am a Rizzler, not the Rizzler, but maybe. You ignore me. What's up, Himsagar? Leon Lucas. Hello, my middle name is Leon. What did you say?
Do you know the term Rizzler?
Of course. I am a Rizzler. I just don't know if I'm the Rizzler. But not yet, at least. Hara, what's up from Brazil? What's up, Maxi? Okay, so the government doesn't. That's why Johannesburg has this water problem, because for so many years they didn't upkeep the water system. They didn't spend the money properly. They give bad tenders, so they give the money to businesses which are friends with the government instead of proper private businesses that will do the job properly, who will want to make a profit because they will be able to do the job properly. So instead they give it to like family friends of the government, so they don't spend the money properly. Then the money doesn't get spent on infrastructure, on maintaining it. What happens? Now they have a water crisis. It's a similar thing with the rail network, because instead of spending money properly on upkeeping the rail network, making sure the railway lines are working, making sure there's proper security, making sure the trains are working. Instead of spending the money there, they don't spend it properly. They don't look forward ahead in time and see, oh, this train is old, so we need to spend money so it doesn't break. They don't do that. Then the train breaks, and then the people who need to get to work don't get to work on time. The trains don't work, and then the harbor ends up suffering, which is why the shipping companies now move to Namibia, because they're like, screw this country, we don't need the problems, we can move to a different country. So long story short, if you privatize these businesses, that wouldn't necessarily happen, because the government wouldn't have a monopoly. If the people will be able to choose a company that actually works. They will see, okay, this company, the government, is not working. Let's give our money to this company who actually does the job, which is why we need to privatize. Top order is not so great right now. Nunya. What is my name? My name is Patrick. That's Carmen Amy. From Nepal, that's pretty sick. What's up? You're Russian. Shout out, because I have empathy for multiple reasons for Russians. Yeah, you get hate just because you're from Russia, but it's the people, not the government. And keep in mind, I have a private pond, so I don't need a license. All right, enjoy your fishing. This is the short version of the story. G Day from Australia. I'm not sure what you're saying, Busy Slim, because there's a lot to say. But yeah, what is there more you wanted to say or ask?
I got distracted with that. I asked something about that.
Oh, what did you ask?
Somebody's comment. Can you scroll up? I just can't see it that well. I can't remember what comment it is. It doesn't really matter.
What's up, Leon Asir from Argentina? Oz Game Collector, ex-Durbanist. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's cool to know that you're from Durban, from South Africa. Okay, so basically, if you just joined or whatever, biggest fish I've ever caught was almost a tuna, 200 pounds. That's pretty sick. So just to bring this all back, the whole point that we're saying is the fact that our country, South Africa, really needs privatization. It's literally the thing that will help so many people in this country. However, there are so many people, and specifically the government, that is scared of privatization for all these reasons which don't really make sense. Because you can argue against privatization and capitalism, the reality is it does lift people out of poverty, and our country desperately needs it, at least for the short term or medium term. We don't need to have capitalism forever. We don't need privatization forever, but we need it in order to really help our people. And so many issues will be fixed when we open up the economy, because it will lift people out of poverty, which helps decrease crime. And all of these problems that we're trying to fix by fixing the symptom will be fixed at the root if we just open up the economy. So that's the point of these conversations. Yeah.
And so we didn't like start it to make a video. I just went to Patrick with like something. I was like I was calculating how much I would be paying tax with a possible income I'd be making, and then I was like, I was a bit taken aback, because then I calculated like, okay, how much estimate does the country's government get from tax? And then I was like, it's a bit difficult for me.
It's a bit difficult.
It's a bit difficult for me to comprehend how much tax goes into the country when I don't necessarily see the results. But as Patrick, like, he then Googled the budget, and then it puts it into better perspective when you see where it's being spent and how much it's being spent. It's still crazy. But yeah.
The point is, we have what?
That got us to this.
Yeah, we were speaking before the stream, and then I decided to record and then stream. The point is, like, Germany in the house. What's up, Levi? We both have been in Germany before, so shout out. I would like you to speak as well about the small percent of people that have the wealth of the country. Okay, the problem is, right?
We did
touch on that off stream. It's not necessarily bad for a small percentage of people to have the large majority of the wealth. That's the reality of the world. The problem is, by having all these restrictions to try to prevent that, instead of doing this, where the rich become richer and the poor become richer, we in South Africa have a situation where the rich are still becoming richer and the poor is becoming poorer because of all these regulations. Like, we shouldn't look so much at rich people and say, oh, it's wrong that they're rich. We should rather say, okay, these people are rich, but how can we help the people at the bottom? We shouldn't because in restricting the people that have the money, we are actually restricting the people at the bottom, because the people that have the money are going to have the money anyway. The people who have the money are still going to be able to make money. During COVID, do you know, I should be careful with the words I use, but during 2020, do you know what happened? The rich got so much richer. The poor didn't get richer. The point why I bring this up is because there were so many regulations, which I'm not saying is wrong or right, but it's the same type of thing in South Africa, where there's so many regulations that the rich still become richer and the poor become poorer. So, like the small percentage of people that own the wealth, that gap can become smaller with privatization. Yeah.
I did also ask about that, because well, you sort of brought it up, how some people are wary of capitalism, and then I brought up things that I've seen online, which is people see it as you just making the rich richer, and poor people are then like sort of abused by the system of capitalism. Although clearly we can kind of see that it's not necessarily capitalism that's the issue. It's not the system. It's the people in the system. Because if you're like in a if you're in a capitalistic company, if your boss is fair and cares about people, then the people at the bottom, the workers, aren't necessarily gonna be living in horrible conditions. So it's not capitalism that's the problem. It's people's abuse of it.
Yeah. Kind of on that point, Levi, I agree with you with privatization brings more choices. So on your point, connected to your point, what Europe has done well, okay? Europe, in a lot of ways, has a socialist society. A lot of people point to Europe and say, look, they have socialism, it works. The point is that Europe used capitalism to get to a point where socialism can work. That's the thing. Because in Europe, you have, like, I'm pretty sure in Sweden, you have, like, maybe even Germany. They pay a lot of taxes, but the people get healthcare with that. I'm pretty sure they get free healthcare. They get, yeah, look at the Netherlands. We know people in the Netherlands. The government helps you with university. They have good medical aid schemes. The government gives the people the money. Why? Yes, they have taxes, and yes, they have like a socialist type society, but they built their way to there. Even China used capitalism to get to that point. So on your point of saying like the greedy people, we shouldn't be worrying about that yet. We're not at that point. We're at the point where we need to just open up the economy and we can worry about those regulations at that point. That's the problem. So many people worry about like, oh, but the rich is going to get richer. It's like, yeah, it's already happening. But our people are literally suffering. And like through so many years, we have so much example of what socialism has brought this country. Can we not for once try capitalism and see, okay, it does work. We don't have to have it forever. We can bring regulations in. Anyway, I might be like repeating my point. But so the point on also what you're saying about if you're in a capitalist company, the amazing thing is in a pure capitalist society, you can decide whether you want to support that boss or not. If you don't like the CEO of that company, capitalism says I can go to a different company or I can choose a different boss because your money says where. It's like a lot of people criticize Apple, right? But you are the ones that give your money to Apple. Like you decide where your money goes. No one's forcing you to buy Apple. That's why a lot of people do buy. Carl van Grienen. What's up, Patrick? Carl here from school. I remember you, brother. What's up? I see you like kind of got a biker club going or something, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I don't know. I've already made points. You have more you want to say? I get fired up about this because literally, I know it's not necessarily as simple as like waving a wand, but in a lot of ways, these are simple things we can do in this country to greatly improve the poverty-stricken people of this country. That's the reality. Because the poverty-stricken people of this country are the ones that are scared of the thing that's going to help them the most, which is privatization and capitalism.
That's another conversation.
What?
Is how, like, well, I still had other things I wanted to say. I can't really remember them. But, is educating people, or like, a lot of people are possibly misguided for a number of reasons. So telling them, I mean, this is one way of doing it, but going out there and actually like educating people on that to say, look, this is how this can work. Like teaching them, you don't necessarily need to teach everybody BCom and tell them like go get a degree, but just teaching them the basic knowledge of like, you know, economics to say like, listen, it's not necessarily how you think, you know.
Well, to be fair, we did get taught in school about different economic systems. But yeah, I mean, what?
That reminds me of what I wanted to say.
What?
Well,
I mean, a lot of things can be attributed to a proper education, that's for sure. In the short term, the best thing we can do is things like this. We really need to grow the message that we need to privatize and open up this economy. Like that, like, I hope y'all understand how necessary it is to open up the economy of this country, because that is literally the thing that will help so many people of this country. So many countries have proven that when they open the economy, China, USA, Europe, I know Europe isn't a country, but so many examples where when they opened up the economy, at least at first, so many people got lifted out of poverty. What was the other thing you wanted to say?
I like this isn't necessarily like really moving the conversation forward, but I was a bit like I didn't necessarily know about what exactly the public and private market in South Africa was. I just knew that we had both. And like the only examples I could think of is stuff like healthcare, where I can see, okay, cool, we have private healthcare and public healthcare, but I didn't know the extent of it to like affecting things like travel, which obviously is a big sort, or not traveling, but exporting and importing, like with railway and stuff, which is a big contribution to our South African economy. And imagine how much bigger that industry could be. I mean, that's like I don't want to say what our country was built on because our country has such a rich culture and history beyond, you know, um, modern economy. But in terms of our country's economy, that's sort of what it was built on, largely. Um, if you get what I mean.
Built on what?
The exporting and importing. Like one
Yeah.
was like using South Africa as like a stop for travel, but also like I'm literally going back to like grade 7 basics. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, yeah, I was just gonna like re-emphasize my point of just saying how we could really just take advantage of what we already have if it's used better.
100%. What's up, Nimdoma? Nimdoma Tamang. I can't tell if that's like a South African name or if that's like a Thai name or something, like Indonesian. Okay, so that's the thing. A lot of people don't, and I know we've touched on this. I can't remember how much we've touched on the live stream, but a lot of people don't realize how much the government's control of certain industries impact the entire country. Because, like I said, even if just the railway system is negatively impacted by just the government controlling it, which has happened, that single industry, the railway industry, impacts the harbors, it impacts the mining, it impacts the farming, because it's all transport. So based on what you're saying, yes, we have a rich history of importing and exporting, but if we can't get a train from the Northern Cape to bring our beautiful minerals to the harbor in Cape Town or Saldanha, guess what? If that train doesn't work, guess what happens? The harbor people lose their jobs because they're not getting the money from the mining. The miners lose their jobs, which literally happened not so long ago. Thousands of people lost their jobs because of the railway industry. So mining is impacted. Farming is impacted. So the point is, if we don't just have government control of these things, if we have privatization, we fix all of those sectors. So I'm not really saying anything new, but I'm hammering up on this point because it's so important. We are not a couple. That's my sister Carmen Amy. I'm Patrick VDV. We are not a couple. We are not dating, and we need to get T-shirts that say
We've
that.
said that so many times.
Sure, but sure. So yeah, we have a really rich import and export opportunity. It's just not and I hope that y'all understand how important it is for just the single railway industry to work properly. And with the government's monopoly over it, that's the thing. People talk about capitalism and monopolies. Why don't we talk about government monopolies? Why isn't that a problem? Like,
well, I mean, it is, but maybe, at least in our country, well, this is an assumption and not based on anything, but it could be that people don't necessarily know that it's that, I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people don't. And again, that's why these are so important. I hope you watching understand how important privatization is and how damaging government control over these industries can be. And I'm not saying to fully eradicate government control. I'm just saying that we need to open up the economy in the beginning. Women lives are easy, period. God doesn't exist. What's a final destination? Life sucks. Aren't you a full ball of joy, my friend. I hope that whatever may be going wrong in your life gets better, and homie, it's not that bad.
Can
It's
I address
it's
or is
also
it topic?
what do you want to address?
The comments.
Well, are you gonna address it in a positive way?
Possibly not.
Because, like I said, marriage sucks, life sucks. My friend, not everything sucks. Listen, it it gets better, and it's up to you to make it better. Um, don't be so negative, because like, dang, homie, I can tell you have a lot on your mind, and you're probably struggling through some stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's many people that do as well. I'm not sure where you're from, but we are from South Africa, and there's millions of people that are in poverty, living in poverty right now. And there's millions of people that, even though they're living in poverty in this country, they still push through and they still go to work every day. So you might be going through some stuff, and I empathize with you. South prison called life. Listen, it's okay. Just push through. But yeah, do you want to ask something?
To them.
No, just in general.
No. You
All right.
said the last thing. Like, this is distracting. So if there was any thoughts, they kind of got lost. But no, I don't think so.
You must lean more in, please. Juice ain't worth the squeeze. I mean, maybe if you make lemonade, like if you don't have sugar, then yeah, maybe squeezing a lemons can be a bit not nice. Final destination, that's your opinion, my friend. Females have to go through something called menstruation every month.
More than that.
Okay, just hold up.
I'm only reacting
Just
like
hold
that because
up.
I literally spoke with somebody
Hold
about
up.
this yesterday.
Hold
And then
up.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Hold up. Females have to go through menstruation every month, which is not fun. That's just one thing. We have different lives with different struggles. Yes, males go through stuff. Menstrual is not a trouble, man. You don't know that, just like I don't know that. But I wouldn't want to bleed in that way every month. What?
They could be woman or female. The other thing is there isn't also like woman lives male or woman and men lives. Like those, unless you're saying all people's life is easy, you know, like it depends on what your idea of a woman is, because there isn't just one life of a woman. You know, I must, like, when I read women's lives are easy, I think of like that 1950s idea, and it's not even 1950s. It's true for some people today, but that idea of
What's your
woman
point?
at home in the
What's
kitchen.
your point?
My point is just that, like, all the reasons why a woman's life is easy would make a man's life easy too.
Yeah, but you're not really saying a point. Look, okay, it doesn't even matter to like respond to your final destination because it seems like you're very like stuck in what you're thinking. Bro, your voice is so good. Thank you, A Day with Badal. I appreciate that. So we're going off topic here. The point is, yeah, we have different. You know what? It doesn't even matter to go into. Back to the main point. So I've already made quite a few points about why privatization is so important and whatever. Final destination. What do you say? Okay, let's give like a relevant example. What do you say to a female living in South Africa whose husband left her or her man left her, and she has to raise children all by herself? Isn't that difficult? That's not necessarily something that males have to go through. Yes, males have struggled, but like,
well, that's something that men go through too. Men also go through their woman leaving. I think.
Yeah, but males are not stuck with if a male doesn't, if a male can leave whenever, a female has if a female is pregnant, they're left with that.
Sorry,
with
I
that.
kind of erased that part out. The child.
Oh yeah, but anyway, I don't really want to. What's up, Vatos? Is there more you want to say about that? Because I want to move on from that
Just
point.
that talking about women and men in this way is very divisive. And yeah, that's just about it.
Oh wait, the thing is, someone like that doesn't necessarily care that it's divisive. That's why I'm asking what your point is, because you need to have a point to make sure that this person can understand. Women live longer. All right, my friend. Okay, let's get back to the point. So I don't know. The point is, I hope that Cameron Page says Final Destination is probably 14 years old and obsessed with Andrew Tate.
Wait, what? I just heard Andrew Tate and then
That person is probably 14 years old and obsessed with Andrew Tate.
Me?
No, the person saying all these things. Okay. Look, we went on a tangent here, which is maybe a little bit somewhat relevant, because maybe some of these points are good to address. But anyway, so the thing that, yeah, the point has already been made. The point has already been made. Privatization, capitalism, all of these things are important, and they're not as bad as people say it is. Yes, capitalism and privatization has its downfalls, but that doesn't mean that we should completely say that capitalism is bad. Just like we shouldn't say socialism is bad, because socialism has its upsides. So we need to spread the message, especially to the people of South Africa, that we actually need privatization. We need capitalism, because that's the thing that will literally lift millions of people out of poverty. Yeah, mom wasn't complaining about my point last night. Oh my goodness, how old are y'all in this comment section, bro? Then again, Carmen is 20 and says that type of stuff. Almost 20. 21 December. Yes.
I was not completely focused, so I just want to like say your point over to see if I understand what you were saying.
Yeah.
Privatization isn't bad. Publicness isn't bad either.
Yeah.
Isn't necessarily bad.
Publicness is not bad.
Capital not necessarily bad. Socialism not necessarily bad. What do you say after that?
Well, okay, your point is right, but at least in terms of South Africa, yes, that's true what you're re-saying, but the important point is that South Africa desperately needs capitalism, because our government and our people are so afraid of capitalism that we haven't really implemented it properly. So that's the point. Because we can say this is good, this is bad, all we want, but we haven't really implemented capitalism in this country. Mm-hmm. And our people and government needs to know that we really need it in this country. We really, really, really need it.
Does Marxism mean Marxism? Anyway, does that mean that everybody gets paid the same?
I think if you really look at Marxism, what it's saying is that the means of production will be controlled basically by AI. In other words, we wouldn't necessarily need money, because AI will be able to do the work that we no longer need, like typical things like farming and factories, and all these things will be completely done autonomously. It will then allow people to go on their creative endeavors. Marx literally speaks about this. Karl Marx wants people to be able to have so much freedom that they can do what they want, whatever their life's creative purpose is, which I don't fully think is wrong. So you are both NPC, probably that woman got some points, but not you. You both, okay. So, but don't lose focus here. Don't lose focus. So there wouldn't be a need for money, because all the things that we would need money for will already be controlled by AI. So AI would determine who gets what. In other words, this household gets 200 kilograms of wheat per month, that household gets 240 kilograms a month. So it's not like everyone will be paid the same. We wouldn't necessarily need money, if I understand Marxism correctly.
Karl Marx predicted AI.
Well, he didn't quite say AI, but from what I understand, he was saying that the means of production will not be controlled by people, something like that.
I remember machinery.
Um,
About machinery.
Something like that.
Like using that. But did you really answer my question?
What was your question? What we would pay?
Well,
I don't think money will be a concept.
Yeah.
That's the point.
But that's in communism or socialism?
Basically.
Socialism and communism the same.
The fact that you have to tell people that you're such a good guy means that you aren't a good guy, my dude. Hey, even Jesus said that only God alone is good. So whatever your beliefs, I'm just saying that there's no such thing as a good person. Just saying.
You call yourself a good guy.
I don't know, but I am not really interested in the chat conversation.
It's like
So Karl Marx did not specifically speak about AI, but he did say, however, some scholars argue that his writings on automation and the potential displacement of human labor by machines can be seen as a precursor. He was basically saying that the workforce will be done by machines, which is AI. In other words, he did kind of, in a sense, predict AI. And this is what so many people don't understand about Marxism. Marxism has to come after capitalism has succeeded. Once we have the means of production controlled by AI, then only can Marxism actually come into play. Socialism, all of these things. And that's what people don't understand. Like people have these conversations like, oh, capitalism is wrong, or socialism is wrong, or communism is wrong. It's like you both are right and wrong at the same time. It's literally a thing of first capitalism needs to work, then socialism, then this, then that. That's the point, bro.
In the first bit, I wasn't fully focused because I was reading. Just to be transparent.
Cameron, if you're talking about me, I appreciate that.
Also, Mr. Final Destination said mortality is subjective, I think, which is an interesting discussion point. You seem like you make a really good period.
I appreciate it, but is there more you want to say about on the topic?
On the topic of Karl Marx, not necessarily.
Oh yeah. And the reason why I would put, if you're talking about me being a good teacher, it's literally just because I'm passionate about this stuff. Like, it's literally, I've said literally a lot, but it's about helping the people of this country. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I would speak to you, ma'am, not this ego man. Who's the ego man? Is it me? Yeah.
Next thing you know, they AI.
Well, there is the thing called the dead internet theory, which says that like the majority of the internet is not real. But anyway, so that's what even people who claim to be Marxists and socialists don't understand this about Marxism. They simply think it means that like you asked now, they think it means everybody must be paid the same and we must have equal this and equal that, but that's not what it means.
I was maybe confusing Marxism and communism.
Yeah, but even communism, Karl Marx is seen as a grandfather of communism. So people don't even understand communism properly, but they call themselves a communist. And what you're talking about is only because of the misunderstandings about all of this. The same reason why people don't like capitalism is because of what they hear about it. They don't actually do their own research. If space is infinite or finite, the truth is we don't know. It's very simple. Like, we have no idea whether it's infinite or finite. Like, you're trying to have that conversation is pointless because we don't actually know.
What's a question?
Very simple.
Man, you should come here.
Teach us, Carmen.
Me? Oh, man. I'm just a man. Okay, guys. So basically, yes. So when you, and then you. Okay, that's all we have time for.
Hallo Max, jy's terug. Hoe gaan dit, bro?
Ek was,
Of nie bra nie, want jy het gesê jy's 'n girl, 'n vrou. So, but I don't know.
terug, nice
Bra can be for everyone. Carmen just made a joke and called you terug. But Carmen spot and said that jou naam is terug. UFC Khabib kick ass, yes. And guess what? He believes in Allah. But you want to say that religion is fake and whatever. So, you see how you're not even making sense with the thinking of your thinking. You need to make the sense. Okay, maybe I need to teach like this, okay? So let's talk about South Africa's problems, okay? It's very simple. The plaas is being impacted negatively. The railways, the harbors, dis alles net 'n groot op, okay? And we need to fix it. We need to fix it. And now that is... Oh, wait. I don't know. I've said a lot on this point. Conor McGregor is innocent. Look, I don't know. Maybe that person is making up the allegations against him, but he was fine. Where am I from? Omar, what is up? Based on your name, I feel like I can say Assalam alaikum. Assalam alaikum. But I am from South Africa.
Me too.
Common as well. We are in South Africa right now. Final destination says women are the best. Your mind has been changed throughout this chat. Well done. You're a little bit confusing. Clap hands.
I'm not clapping for that. Why would I clap when I literally said earlier how talking about women in this way is divisive?
Bring that beautiful ahead you are keeping behind. She is better.
Keep me ahead because I'm better. What?
Yes. Wa alaikum. Thank you.
I'm
yeah.
not being kept behind. I was just sitting here.
Well, I'm just clapping because like he's had a switch or they've had a switch of the mindset. So, basically, to summarize what we're saying, capitalism good, socialism good, communism, I don't know so much about that, so I'm not gonna say. But the point is, I'm not letting Carmen talk. Carmen, come on, go. Floor is yours. Maybe we even do this. Oh my goodness. The mug fell. But they want you, Carmen. Come and say something. Okay, we might have reached the end of this live stream.
I'm not going to like say something.
We might have reached the end of this live stream because...
I wanted to say something earlier, but I can't remember.
Without you, she can have any man. I'm her brother, homie. She can be so successful without you, she can have any man. I can listen to her all day. Okay.
I said like 2 words.
Okay, alright.
What did I want to say?
Ja nee, moet nie dit end nie. Dankie Maxi. Maxi Taxi. I do let Carmen speak. I don't know why they're saying that.
So I think
I'm very chivalrous and I let Carmen talk all the time. Women lives are easy, I prove.
And your Mars.
I'm kidding, breaking you off though. Yeah.
I know that. He was joking, guys. He's joking. Don't come at him. What was I saying?
What were you saying?
I think I wanted to say that I had the thoughts and now they left me. I've had the thoughts, so I think socialism could technically also work in the same way capitalism can to build up a country.
Interesting. Why do you say so?
Because like if done correctly and everybody like teamworks and is seen as equals, then you can be like, okay, listen up guys, this is all the things that need to be done. This is the jobs that need to be done. What do you want to do? Where are your skills at? Okay, cool. You can start off here that can get you here. Oh, you have this skill, you'll be perfect here.
Uh,
Yeah.
so you are a sweet man too. You just need to grow up a bit. So, okay, give me an example of how that would work and pan out in South Africa.
Okay, so we were talking about railway earlier, right?
Yeah.
So that's an issue.
Yeah.
So what issues need to be solved there? Okay, cool. We need better security because people are worried about their safety. We need new trains to be built and somebody to inspect it regularly. What are other issues involved there? Whatever. So then it's like, okay, cool. We have this many stations, so we have this many or security jobs now available. Cool. Yeah, we take some already security people to be like maybe head of security. We take some unemployed people. There we go. We just solved a little bit of unemployment by giving people minimum wage, low skill. Not low skill. You obviously need some skills, but you don't need to go study a degree to become a security guard. Um, and like with the railway stuff, cool. We take our engineers. Here you go. Here's a work for you. Oh, by the way, like you can spend your other time, I don't know, coming up with ways to better it. I don't know, that
Okay, but
simple answer.
okay, but the point is that the government has the ability to do that. The government is the problem because the government is the ones that are not doing that.
No, 100%. I'm just saying that, like, if done correctly, it shouldn't really matter whether it's socialism or capital, or it doesn't really matter if it's socialism or capitalism. And I like our idea of having both.
Yeah, but see that whole thing about if done correctly, the reality of the world is we need to work with how the world works, and how the world works is having capitalism, at least in the beginning. You can't. I don't think there's a single country in the world that started with socialism that's become successful. I'm pretty sure that every single country that starts I'm pretty sure that every single country that starts with socialism and or communism has basically failed. If they haven't implemented some sort of capitalism because of government control.
Okay.
It's literally that simple.
That's simply reason why okay, but we're not fully capitalist. Okay, but then take America for instance. They're fully capitalist, right? But 100%. We can still see a lot of issues there.
But I didn't say capitalism is perfect. Yet they're still like the strongest country in the world. They're still the richest country.
I am comparing examples of failed economies to a very successful one.
Exactly. And that alone should be a reason to be like, exactly, capitalism works. Look at America. Look at America post World War II, bruh. What did they do? Capitalism. And they went up. They went straight up. Do you know what Germany did? Do you know what Germany did after being decimated during World War II? Do you know what they did? Capitalism! Do you know what happened in East Germany? Communism! Literally, there's another example, okay? But what did Germany do after capitalism? Implemented a little bit of socialism! Wow! Now we have a great country with a great government and a great economy.
So is socialism both mixed economy?
Socialism, kind of.
Okay.
But there's an emphasis on government control.
Okay. Which is bad.
It's not black or white.
Oh wait.
Look, I personally am all for least amount of government control. But I understand how that can have problems. So that's why Germany has like I think it's eco-capitalism, where they have capitalism, but there's some regulations to make sure that it's fair capitalism. And I kind of agree with that. Am I born and raised in South Africa? Yes, I was born in Cape Town, and I was for the most part raised in South Africa. Same with Carmen Amy. I did spend time when I was younger. We both spent time in Europe.
I don't remember it.
Carmen doesn't remember it. I do. So I do have a little bit of that. Like, even though I was so young, I have that experience of what Europe is like. So I know what this country can be like if we implement certain things.
That's close to moving there. or staying there.
Kind of.
I could have possibly been speaking German.
You guys look so European. Well, I mean, our roots are European. Like, if you go, our family is European, so that makes sense. But we're South African.
I
Like,
saw a comment before saying I look like Russian people, and then I googled Russian people. I was like, yeah.
well, I
Makes sense.
think the word Caucasian, which is referred to people who have white skin,
But isn't
comes from the Caucasus Mountains, which is close to Russia.
Oh,
So there's, but I mean, this whole you look like this, you look like that. That's I don't like thinking like that because it's
there's no one look.
I must have enjoyed my childhood. I mean, sure there was good parts about it, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't struggles. Like, like we've dealt with like potential suicide, like literally potential suicide. When do you guys lose your V cards? Are you comfortable speaking about that? I think I'm pretty sure I was 17.
You just answer that. I didn't expect you to answer.
I didn't. Why should it matter?
I'm laughing. I think I'm laughing because that like caught me off guard.
Oh wait. Well, Carmen is not saying, so maybe Carmen is not comfortable.
No, why was that? No, we like started this live to talk about the economy and South Africa. Why? Yeah.
So.
Not me like. Sorry, I just spat on you. It was like.
Yeah. So the point is that socialism and stuff like that tend to lead to government control, and then whenever you leave power with human beings, the majority of people cannot handle power. So what do? They take advantage of it, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So yeah, sex is a taboo still in 2025.
Well, it's not that it's taboo. It's how all of us here. You know, it's just like that's not what this topic's about. If I started up the conversation to be like, "Hey guys, today we're gonna be talking."
Carmen was 13. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Joking. He's lying. That's not true. You can't be saying that. Next thing you know, like I'm getting comments. Oh, you hoe. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm totally kidding. But you do have a point. We this is a serious live stream.
Serious discussions about real life things.
It's true though.
Weirdo. No, I'm joking. I say weirdo with like me being a weirdo at heart. So.
Live young, die young. That's what I got to know until I'm 27. I have a song called Dead at 27. So aware, but I don't think you're gonna die at 27. I just think you. Guess my age. Am I 27 for real? I think you're either like 16 or 15 or you're like. Nah, I think you're probably around there.
Someone his age.
My age.
Yeah, I had suspicions of who would be behind that account, but I really shouldn't be doing that because like I get to myself when I do that.
Jim Morrison. I'm 27, sir. I don't necessarily believe you. I don't necessarily believe you.
Who's Jim Morrison?
Someone who died at 27, I presume. Shout out to Kurt Cobain. Shout out to Amy Winehouse. Shout out to the one and only Jimi Hendrix. And you both must be in late 20s or 30s. I'm 25. Carmen is 20. Almost.
I shouldn't be that offended. I'm not offended.
I subbed you. I don't know why, but I loved your vibes.
Your vibes are immaculate, bro.
I really appreciate it. I'm just like confused by you, Final Destination. You look older. Who? Both of us?
Probably me because I said that. I am wearing makeup. And I've been told that I look better without makeup.
Also, I exercise a lot and my diet is good. And that helps to look good. Even Brian Johnson, like he speaks about how a calorie deficit is anti-aging.
And you know when Brian Johnson speaks about it, it's real.
Well, I'm just saying that because you bring him up a lot.
Oh, I had a therapy appointment yesterday and I brought him up to my therapist. I was like, have you heard of Brian Johnson? And she's like, no, so I was writing it down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, like, these things we really can change quite easily. We just need to get. Yes, your sis doesn't look 20 at all. She looks 25. All right. Yeah. Maybe this is a great time to end, although maybe another 5 minutes to reach that hour. You are lovely people like everyone. You just need to listen to our show. Not sure who that is. But I'm not really, I don't want to go more off.
You're ending it off anyway.
Our show. Indian philosopher.
Oh, I thought this was
Rajneesh, also known as Acharya Rajneesh, Bhagwan Shri Rajneesh, and later as Osho. Listen to her, sir. Women are awesome. Philosopher, mystic, and founder. Was an Indian godman, philosopher, mystic, and founder of Rajneesh movement. He was viewed as controversial new religious movement leader. Okay, so he's like a guru type person. You maybe need to listen to more Sadhguru. Shout out to Sadhguru.
Is Osho gonna be in one of your next Psytrance tracks?
I don't know. I like Sadhguru, and this person might be kind of seems like one of these people that are like more on the BS side. I'm kind of assuming, but I don't know. Sadhguru is smaller than Osho. Okay, but I mean, what's his name? Ted Bundy was loved by so many females. Does that mean that that Ted Bundy was a good source of knowledge or something? Yeah. Osho made Oregon City. What? I don't know about that, but anyway, I'm good with Sadhguru. Carmen looks quite confused, or I'm not sure. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving a like. We're gonna go for at least 3 more minutes, I think. I see more people just tuned in. I think you are simply judging the book by its cover. I'm not judging a book by its cover. I know how to read a book.
Wait, can we scroll through the comments? I want to see everything that was spoken about.
How much coke she snores? Mustafa Al-Qasimi.
Not the allegations. Starting already.
Yeah, so what I was saying is we kind of made our point already earlier in the stream. So if you want, check out the stream once it's up or go back to see. It's cool to do. I just whipped this out while we were busy talking, and yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
But it's off topic, and I don't know if you want the branding. It's about like the second last question.
Wait, what?
It's about the second last question.
Okay, what?
Or similar to what they speak about.
Mustafa said, "I'm just kidding." All good. What's up, Mustafa? What are you saying, Wasi?
I want to ask something about that thing about Coke, but I don't know if
you
want to open.
Go ahead.
What are the characteristics? Like, why I want to? Maybe I should ask that person. Why are you asking that? Like, what am I giving off that's like giving that? Because I'm not applicable. I love philosophy.
The beautiful lady is talking. Well, Mustafa did say that they're kidding, so.
But still, I don't know. Unless it's so obvious that like I don't do coke, that it's like, that's why they're making it true.
I don't know.
Okay. But I still want to scroll through the comments and see what everybody was talking about to see if there's any topics that we can maybe talk about in the future.
A lot of Final Destination.
Whoa! Hello, Dor.
No.
Hello, Dor. My grandma cat. That's a crazy start. The angle. From Brazil, cool. What's a Rizla? Someone asked. If Busy Slim's still here, from my understanding, it's just somebody who like got game in the dating scene.
A Rizla is someone with Riz.
What he said. Please don't bring any innocent kid here in this cool existence. Anti-natalism? What's that? And he also hashtag Osho. That is like a tough moral dilemma. The other thing is like, can I open up that discussion?
We reached an hour. I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna say. So
Well, about like women, or what I just read women about people having children. It's like we obviously have like a natural calling that's like telling us reproduce, have a child, you know. But people sort of also, I think, romanticize the idea of children. It's like they're not accessories. Like, what is the point? Like, I think I've asked before, like, what's an advantage to having a child?
Continuing the human race.
Oh, yeah. But it's sort of like, I don't know. We can see.
I mean, it's maybe selfish, but like there's probably like a joy, and this is what I've heard. Like, there's a joy that a child brings you that nothing else does.
But also, I've seen people say like raising children or raising teenagers ages you by like 10 years, and it's like,
yeah, but that sounds like a negative mindset. So that's probably from people with a negative mindset. If you go look at people that are successful and don't have a negative mindset, they speak so highly of their children. Like
those are not fun to be around.
Patrick,
not in a weird way.
Patrick Bet David says like if he could have 10 or 20 children, he would do that. Like, and he's very successful, and doesn't have a negative mindset. And people with that mindset of children age, you probably shouldn't be having children. And what's the benefit? You can give them an amazing life. If you really care about that child and you actually put the hard work in, you can give them a life that like you can basically let them be like they're in a video game. Imagine you're in like GTA 5, like obviously not like where you go and people, not gonna say the word for the stream, but if you can give a child a life, like a dream life, that's the benefit. It's just the fact that you should be, if you're gonna have a child, you should.
I think at the bare minimum, people just need to have empathy and enough knowledge to know that they have a responsibility to look after that child. And it sounds like obvious, but to not traumatize them, which is so far too common. And I'm not even like, you could be the best parent out there, could be a homeless person. Obviously, like, you shouldn't have it. Like, the ideal is probably not to have a child, at least in our society, as a homeless person, because like struggle food security and all of that things. But like, yeah, I wish.
But your original point was like, what's the benefit of having a child?
Yeah, my question. Also, I was reading comments. So in the beginning, I think you said people at a young age shouldn't have children. Did you speak about Sadhguru? Can you please repeat any of those?
Did I speak about Sadhguru?
I'm asking that.
In terms of having a child?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Did you say that somebody spoke about that? About having children at a young age?
At a young age? I didn't say anything
You didn't
about
speak.
that.
Okay, then I was completely lost. Can you please, if you remember, repeat that? What your point is? Yeah.
Do you guys believe in the afterlife? Look, I do in a sense, but it's too complicated to explain. And at the end of the day, the afterlife doesn't matter. We need to be our best self right now. Maybe we are in the afterlife. People care so much about what's going to happen to them in the afterlife that they don't even focus on the now. It's like you could be in heaven or hell right now, but that's based on you, what your actions are.
I like that interpretation of something like heaven and hell. I think also a lot of times the idea of an afterlife was pushed when life wasn't great for people by the people who were making it not great. But like with God and things like that, I try and, even if like I want to personally leave some space open for the possibility of anything, I also like I want to have a realistic idea or a literal idea of something that I can like see. So like with afterlife, it's like we can have an afterlife through the people alive, like through your future generations or people who will be alive after you. They can keep your life alive like through word of mouth. So like if you're like for Patrick, I would love to talk about him, or I would love if like people, younger children in our family spoke about him and spoke about how good of a influence he is and the great things that he's done and how he's helped himself and helping other people. And then with God, it's like there's so many different ideas of God, but at the bare minimum, you can like think of God as someone, something, whatever that created everything, and that's like a really nice idea, even if you like don't want to apply religion to it. And I think if more like non-religious people thought like that, they might be more faithful. Not faithful in the sense of like loyal, but like more open to faith.
Like meet the ones we love and stuff like that, like how the afterlife looks. Homie, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like when you die, you're not necessarily gonna care about being with your family. Like it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's gonna be beyond our understanding right now. The afterlife is something that we literally cannot understand, which is why it's so important to just focus on what you are doing right now.
I saw this.
Yeah.
You seem like you still want to say something.
Well, I'm asking you what.
Oh, well, I've also spoken a lot, but I saw this one like video. I think it was quite recently, where a guy spoke about having a near-death experience. Like he technically, like, died medically.
Yep.
He was confirmed dead. This was also a while ago, so maybe it would be, I don't know. But like he said that like he experienced afterlife and said that we live forever. At least that's what the thumbnail said. I think I added it to watch later or something. But that makes me like just from that alone, I like wondered like, did he actually experience like afterlife, or like was he just like in a dream state, like busy, like his brain was like still active, you know? I don't know. That's so interesting to think about.
Well, I think those two are connected, like the dream world and the afterlife. I think they're very much connected. But anyway, we've gone off topic. Is there more you want to say? Because I'm going to end the stream.
They said something else earlier.
Yeah, but I don't really want the stream to be you scrolling through the chat.
Wait, I'll be quick. If I had a sister like her, I would love her too. I think, I don't know. Do you love me?
Of course.
And I love you too. And I love you, all of you. I love everyone. Which is something you also helped teach me, unconditional love.
Oh. Don't have dead air.
Oh. Well, I could be reading, but some of the... Patrick, you got the potential to explore, my man. I'd love to hear more about that point.
Okay, keep it moving.
This is now low. Okay, anyway. Tracy, no. I don't like the angle. What if we don't you already have your answer. You gotta oh, that one I saw.
Okay, you're
extremely grateful.
You're not being very interactive. No, but you're not being though. What do you want to read?
No, I just want to see everything because there was a lot.
Okay, you can maybe read afterwards. All right.
I don't know if you can. Mine were gone when I went live.
Okay. Well, what? Do you still want to read?
No, it's okay.
Alrighty.
Just the arrow so we up to date.
Love her on my behalf. Women are generally good. They have great energy. Thank you, Mustafa. Appreciate the hearts. Heart to you too. Indeed, I love the energy too. Keep this kind of streams. When should I meet you guys again? What?
It was a good idea on your part.
Oh wait, But somebody didn't say that it was a good idea. Eh? You're just saying
I'm
that out of
saying,
your own.
yeah.
Oh wait. Yeah, it just felt right what to do. Oh yeah, when should you meet us again? I will only join if she will come. Okay. I don't know when we're gonna stream again. I might stream. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've been streaming more recently, so let's see.
Yeah, subscribe to Patrick's channel. Maybe he won't say it himself, but I'm asking you to, please.
Oh wait, well, Mustafa said I'm going to subscribe,
That's what I'm saying.
so thank you. Oh wait. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate very much. Thank yous. Inkosi kakhulu. Bye dankie. Thank you very much. Arigato. Danke. Beetje bedoel gracias.
Not underneath.
Yeah, but I don't want to touch my face. Namaste. My soul recognized yours. Okay. Thank you. This was fun, even though we went a bit off topic, but I guess that's how conversation works. And you can go back to the beginning.
One.
And I guess you can go back to the beginning if you want to see the rest. And yes, 1. So we must maybe wait till it's 30 because then it works out to 3. Alrighties, thank yous. And see you later.